So, yeah, I guess I'm doing this sooner than I thought I would, but I think I'm just going to give the rundown. We did the first mission, and this is going to be the first time that we're going to have like a cutscene that's going to really try to explain the game. In the demo, it told you, it just like gave you about a paragraph about, you're trying to hunt down these robots that are wreaking havoc, but we never really got that context in the game. So this cutscene should do that. Also, this is gonna be where I start playing the game on hard mode this time. Last time I just really wanted to get past that first section because you have to redo it if you die, and hard mode is really ridiculously hard, almost to an unreasonable degree. So without further ado, let's finish up this cutscene and let's get down to the surface, hopefully. And I hope to do some side quests. It's probably not going to be as long as part 1, and depending on how things go, I might not talk that much. I'm going to say that a lot because I kind of want to do this uninterrupted, and other people, so let's continue. So there, yeah, we got the rundown, although I do have to question what exactly he was explaining that to people who are already fighting the androids. It's for the player, don't worry about it. I really like this sequence. You'll see in a second. So, I was like, what's going on? Like, is this recording? Oh, there you go. Adjust until only the right... okay. Get started. Go through the adjustments in order. As I said, we were witnessing. So, this is the maximum brightest, but I'm supposed to only see the right symbol, so it's only the right icon is visible. Voice recognition is set to mute, which isn't gonna work. I'm gonna call you out to know, make sure you hear. Actually, I like this. I'm just teasing Ninos. So, So the first time I saw the self-destruction thing, I immediately said no multiple times because I know I'm playing a Yoko Taro game. I know he's gonna throw me a curveball. So I repeatedly said no because I was really concerned about what this might mean for later in the story, or maybe an enemy hacks me and then I blow myself up or something and I get like a bad ending or an alternative ending. So I said no, but it actually doesn't affect ending or gameplay at all, and in fact it's a aesthetical choice. If you've ever seen 2B in a leotard, then you know what this really means. I'm just gonna say no, just to mess with 9S. We have to sacrifice in order to finish.
この画面を終了してください。確かに自爆するのは嫌ですよ。規則では自爆機能は必須ですけど。
Yeah, I'm just gonna keep it off. Although I think the dialogue changed slightly because he's in Japanese now. And now I'm gonna put it to hard mode. Minimap rotation off. Vibration, I want it on.
振動検知の機能を有効にしたんですね。それでは今から実際に肩を軽く叩いて。どうですか？わかりますか？ OK。テスト終了です。
Oh, I didn't know that. That was a nice little detail. I wonder if... So you gotta remember that was recorded. And the game really means it when they say that you recorded it, because, well, there's something about it later.
司令官からの命令で 2B さんのメンテナンスを担当することになったんです。これから定期的にチェックしますね。心配はいりませんよ。僕たち 9S モデルは優秀なことで有名ですから。で、自分で言うことじゃないか。9S。なんでしょう。
継承はいらない。
え？
私の名前に3はつけなくていい。
あ、はい。わかりました。
I like her.
そうだ。司令官が呼んでたから一緒に行きましょう。2B さん。あ、いや。2B。
No. Also, look back up there, safe possible. So I got 7,750. So I don't want. I can't use auto, but I do want. You're gonna want a lot of these because this is hard mode. I'm just gonna say what 15-ish, and there's almost no. Well, shoot. Let's play a sound analyst graph. See, I don't understand what this is about. I think it's for something else that's in the game. There's an area and there's an item that makes a high-pitched sound that only certain ears can hear. And I think that the sound and analyst graph allows people to kind of have good hearing, kind of knows the general area. Will still be able to find that item. If that's true, and that's pretty neat. On hard mode, I found that these really come in handy. So I'm gonna range defense. I don't really like range defense. Melee attack, it's pretty substantial. Ranged melee defense, pretty useful. And ranged attack up, pretty useful. And I'm only gonna buy what, 2 of these. Let's see what else. Fishing spots. Can't afford it, but you know, there's no point in these. I don't really. I would never use these anyway. Yeah. So let's get out of here. I don't know how long I'm gonna go. So
デー
these
タを
are
セーブす
the.
るにはアクセスポイントに近い場所じゃないとできません。近距離マップで確認してこまめにセーブしましょう。
Yeah. So this is just if you didn't figure out how to quick save. Enter box. This message is intended to verify your mail. Your mail account members are encouraged with mailing system. Should contact your supervisor as soon as possible. All right. Nothing really much else to do other than to talk to the commander at this point.
ああ、2B か。メンテナンスは終わったのか。
Jeez,
ブラックボックスの暴走による敵殲滅。
get a look at that
あまり
fight.
無茶をするなよ。メン
That's
テナンス明けで悪いが任務がある。地上にいるレジスタンスたちと合流し、情報収集してくれ。俺、レジスタンスとの連絡役には別のヨルハブ隊員がアサインされていたんじゃん。専任の担当者とは連絡が取れていない。その原因究明も兼ねて現地調査を頼みたい。
了解しました。
So that actually vaguely looks like North America. I mean, you can kind of see it. Like you can see this little blip right there that for Florida, and that kind of looks like Mexico. So who knows? Maybe we're in North America, but at least that's what it looks like. Like a really messed up North America, but that's because it's ridiculously into the future, so.
地上ってことは飛行ユニットで移動ですね。格納庫に行きましょう。飛行ユニットの運用コストは高いからあんまり使わせてもらえないんですよね。もっと安い機体を生産すればいいのにな。
Huh. Although I do kind of wonder why they chose this place to be black and white, though. This place specifically. I'm gonna trigger an ending right here. So that. Self-destruction of the bunker, the actual structure ended up exploding in a spectacular fashion. But hey, it did look pretty from Earth. However, in the depths of space, the commander still floats around in a stern look on her face. Debunked. Yeah. I just wanted to get that ending. Because, hey, you might as well. And I'm gonna check. Just in case. Gonna check the chat just in case. So yeah, so there, you got two endings. If you fail the first mission, then, well, yeah, if you fail the first mission, you get, the ending W. If you then, blow up yourself up in the bunker using self-destruct, then you get, ending U. Kinda easy to get, honestly. Yeah, so I'm gonna switch between a casual talk and a informed talk, just because I know I'm streaming this, so I know I'm gonna fail at certain points, and being like, sorry, to the bunker. Yeah, let's get the flight units. Oh god, I don't feel so good. Huh. So I guess they're not mechs, they're flight units. Still nice touch. Whoever's the sort of leader of the flight units, then you get the white. I'm dead. That was kind of unexpected. For some reason, I forgot that I put it on hard mode. But you know what? Whatever. So, oh. See, I don't understand why they originally couldn't do this for your first mission where they have actual save points, because I didn't physically save. So it's either an intentional decision to force whoever's playing to really get good at that first section so they can get to the rest of the game, or that's just incompetence. I think because of this specifically, I really do think that that ridiculous conclusion was on purpose. Which, that's interesting, if it is. So, for some reason I forgot I could dodge, because I'm an idiot like that. unfortunately we won't really need to use these flight units for some time. Which is kind of a shame. I kind of wish there was like they went a little bit further with the flight units, but I already kind of explained that. These things are fast. So, this area. Ooh. And I think this is where I'm gonna really test if I want to keep the alternative controls or change them, because last time I was kind of in a tight squeeze. Like, if I die now, I am okay with that. If I died previously, not so okay. I do find that having it on the back, the right bumper, or R2, kind of convinces me to use it less. Like, I don't feel as compelled to use shooting, and it kind of makes it hard to do it while you're comboing. Like, I don't know. But I guess it does emphasize the fact that it's support and not your main weapon cast. Plus, I don't really like range that much. So I have mixed opinions about this City Ruins. So first of all, there's something that happens later that makes it annoying to control or to get around in. Minimap shows your around your location at the bottom. Select the show your objective. Make sure you follow it so you don't get lost. I don't like that. I don't like the marker at all. In fact, maybe it's on purpose, but or this is an excuse, firstly for me, because I love a lot about this game, other stuff about this game. I'm iffy about, I don't like the marker, right? Because it's not like other games where it shows you a main objective and a side objective. All of the markers look exactly the same, and I don't like that much. Although I do like the fact that it does encourage you to know where quests are gonna be at, rather than just kind of knowing what's the main deal and what's the side deal. And it does encourage a player to really listen to what the quests are saying, which is kind of a good thing, because the quests are very much a main part of the story. The side quests are as much as the main quest, and it reinforces a lot of themes and character. So that is something that I do like. So you notice you only have one sword. The big sword that you used against the Goliath is left there after you do the mission. The machines in this area. See, that's weird sounding. So the machines in this area aren't hostile. They won't attack. They won't attack you. Okay. So it actually does provide, like, map information. I didn't know if it actually did or not, but they're really wide spaces, so it's kind of not worry about it. Also, these red dots are potential quests, and I guess I'm gonna go do them. I'm not sure how many I'm gonna do in this stream. I don't even know if I'm gonna commentate this entire stream, but I'm gonna try to do some side quests. So the idea that like the enemies are kind of just mindless zombies. They walk around. They don't pay attention to what you're doing. They're not really that hostile at first. I think is a really good thing that it's just subtle hints. So they don't attack you. Yeah, these enemies are kind of here for tutorial purposes, I guess you could say. Oh, these guys. Oh god. There you go. So the enemies will early on jam these every once in a while. I don't believe they do that later though. So there's a few here before we get to the main camp, and and we you know, get to the sort of main area. So alright. Once you get used to this game's level layout, I do recommend getting rid of the mini-map because it kind of falls into the same category that Skyrim and Fallout games, which is you just go to the dot, you press the dot, and you kind of just walk forward. It's not nearly as bad because what I like about this game is it's not open world in the sense that you'd think it is. There's areas, right? There's areas and subsections of areas that are kind of work almost like large levels rather than giant open worlds, and it feels a lot less empty. It feels like it uses space more. In fact, I'd complain that this certain areas really lack detail. There's just not enough stuff going on in there, particularly desert levels, but I think desert levels are not great in games in general. They're just kind of empty and too big. Wish there was more like ruins. So a lot of people compare this mechanic to Dark Souls. You can find dead bodies, some of which are in-game and some of which are online. That one was not online. A prompt would come up if it was online, asking you if you want to repair it or salvage material. But once you get used to the areas in this game seems pretty small. You can memorize a lot of space, and I think it just kind of sucks looking at mini-maps all the time. At least that's just how I prefer to play games. Not to say there's anything wrong with open worlds, it's just I think they become overused. These things can kill you, I think. If I'm not if I'm not mistaken, you can go to everywhere on the map, except for a few places that open up later. for story reasons, but you can pretty much go anywhere. In fact, I'm going to check the mini-map right now, see how much is opened up. Actually, not that much, to be honest. I think you really only need to get one. So, the map can be really tricky if you're not careful. There's a lot of places that, oh, like here, there's a red dot over there, but then you look over there and there's just deep pit and falls and nothing. Also, because this is hard mode, you want to probably pay attention to your level a lot more. Like, let's see what we are, level 5. Level 5. So just keep in mind we're level 5, because that does affect damage and how damage is sort of doled out. These are level 4s, so nothing really much. Anyway, I'm just gonna head to the camp right now. I just wanted to grind up a bit. I think some of the choices in this game were weird. Again, I always have to say, yeah, I love this game a lot, but what I mean is, I'm not because this is basically Platinum's first RPG, right? So this is the first time they're really working with levels, but they also are known for having their games having multiple difficulties. And so it's kind of balanced a bit weird, because this looks like an action game. You have light attack, heavy attack, you got your launch attack, you got your dive attack, you have your counter, you even have guns. It's very much like Bayonetta in a lot of ways, just like a NieR coded Bayonetta, a NieR themed Bayonetta, or Bayonetta themed NieR, whatever. But so the inclusion of like levels is, you know, has mixed results in higher and lower difficulties, and it's kind of reasonable. And I'm sure they had time constraints and budget constraints, and I'm sure if they had to remake the game from scratch, then maybe they'd fix a few core issues. I do recommend not playing this game on the PS4. I don't know if it's on the Xbox One, but don't play it on PC. I heard it has a lot of problems, which isn't surprising because Japanese developers don't put a lot of resources into PC games a lot of the time, because PC just is really only starting to get popular. Really? Over there? So anyway, yeah, we made it to the camp, and this is going to be your main hub for the majority, actually throughout your entire playthrough of this game. So this place is pretty important. You get a lot of quests here, a lot of tutorials here, or well, it's more like hints than tutorials. And yeah, let's really like the music. It's simple, but it's pretty good for a place like this, especially when the vocals kick in. The resistance camp. Because the criticism of the game is the color palette. I'm just gonna let 9S do a spiel. Yeah, there's a lot of grays. There's some green, but there's only really a passing amount of green. There's a lot of green and gray. There's a quest. Oh, no, there's a map info. And I don't think there's anything to the... See, okay, so at the beginning of the game, you don't want to go that far, because you can only go to the bunker. which sucks until a few hours into the game. I'm always great for a new customer. What kind of supply trader is this? What can I get you? I think this comes in handy later. Hush prevents some animals. Yeah, so you can ride boars and all that. Give an animal in order to ride them. I never figured out what exactly the deal is with this. So I know you have to buy this, but I don't know about this because it feels like the number for this never goes down. I'm not sure. I'm just gonna buy like 5. I wanna buy 5. Well, I have 6. Let's see if it goes back down to 5 after I ride a boar or something. Maybe they just hand it out pretty easily. Maybe. Yeah, definitely gotta buy a lot of this on hard mode. Restador. It's usually mine, but for some reason this stuff is lying around everywhere. Well. But I don't have any necessary raw materials now. No, then there's what I do for you again. Alright. Okay, 1 small gear, 1 broken gear, 1 broken spring. Alright. So here's another tip. Just, like, I'm usually the one who tries to take 1 side quest on at a time. Don't do that with this game. Just while you're in town, just get any side quests that you could find. Just get them all. And just go out there, because then you're going to come back here and go out again, then come back here, and it just wastes more time. It's less fluid. Just get all the side quests. Just read them all, get them all. Recycle from the old world, although to be honest my tools are pretty sad shape at the moment. If you get any sources, help them out. Alright. By the way, like, for some reason this guy, he mentions a chord, which is from Drakengard 3, although she's a time-traveling android. Never explained, he just says that she's a supplier, she drops off new weapons every once in a while, and they kind of just leave it at that. I'm just gonna say I'm good. Actually, I want to ask this person. I'm good. Alright. Don't really need to ask for advice. All of these are way too expensive. So let's just save and hit the road. Impact bracer. So I want to, I think, melee defense. Oh. Dang it, never mind. I was trying to short key it, but whatever. Yeah, but I don't know. I never feel like it unlocks. The game's not big enough for it to really matter. Alright, so this explains it. Pray, other players' health will be fully restored, and you'll receive an item. I'll temporarily gain 3 based on the chips player had equipped. Her body will follow you around and aid you in combat. 1 max. The aid in combat thing is like, it's alright. Really isn't that. It's not the hottest thing on earth. It's useful for bosses, but the AI for the machines are... Their combat AI is not great. If I had to explain it, like, for bosses, it's kind of... They're just kind of there as fodder for them. And they're only really viable for regular enemies. AI is not nearly as good as, you know, 9S. And it's... I think I'm just gonna head for this one first then. Thankfully, these 2 quests are really the only point in the game where it feels like you're kind of doing busy work. Again, it feels like an extension of a tutorial. Just in case you somehow still haven't figured out how to play the game. Let's collect these items. Thankfully, it's really not that hard to find these items. Unlike, I guess, MMOs where you'd have to grind it out for forever. Pretty sure I got all of them. Unless there's something laying on the ground. Yeah, there is something laying on the ground. Huh. That should be it for the quest, but I'm just gonna check. Broken circuit. Complex gadget. We can always go back. I didn't know what to feel about this point in the game. You kind of just finally get to play the game, and you're kind of hit with, oh, collect item. It's kind of like, oh, right? And another flaw of this game is this. I hate this, and I noticed that this seems to be prevalent before the stage changes. This is a temporary sort of state for the map. It changes later on in the game, and you can kind of tell that because some of these buildings feel like they have less detail put into them. It really would have been nice if there's like something that you could walk through, but there's just a few things in this early part. And I think that's almost it for my complaints for this game. I keep on saying, well, this. It's not a perfect game. That's kind of what you get from Yoko Taro. The combat's fun, but it can get kind of repetitive, and there's a few choices where you can see, yeah, this is kind of Platinum's first attempt at an action RPG. Although I'm kind of glad that they really have this entry in this genre under their belt now. I guess it's kind of strict about what counts as being in the circle for this. Oh, this is a player. A broken woman suffered a double KO inside an empty ship. Huh. That's a particular message. I guess I'm gonna pray, and then I'm gonna retrieve. You mostly kind of want to retrieve in this game, unless you got a particular tough spot, and then they could kind of come in handy. Alright, and this should be the last. Huh. There should be one more item around here, and I'm just probably not saying it. This is kind of driving me crazy now, because I do remember having this exact problem before, and it's because of the lighting. Yep, there it is. They hid it behind the bush, the bastards. Yeah, we have enough for the trader, but we don't have the, I'm not sure if enemies respawned. And the answer is no, so I guess just head back. And here's me gliding with the rotating camera again. A lot easier to find where you're going, because I'm not rotating it. I'm not constantly trying to figure out what direction I need to recorrect myself with. Not nearly as much. Just head south. And I know where south is, and now I can just head there. So, admittedly, I think this is probably the most melancholy part of the game. Especially after you fought giant Goliaths to kind of just be introduced to the world like this. It's kind of strange, but there's a very clear turning point. And what, we got another quest? 2. Alright. So, the cheapest option here is to just buy another weapon. Fuck yeah. Alright. Although there is some items that you can, and in fact, let's see, medium. I got 8 medium. I think I should be fine for now. I'm gonna see if I can fix this progress block. If I transport to the bunker and then transport back down, then I think it should reload. Because, I don't know, there's 2 quests that are a bit of a problem in this game. In fact, there was a quest I never finished, and I thought was very kind of important, but I never did it on my first playthrough because it just wouldn't load it for whatever reason. So I do have an admission that I've only played the sequel, NieR Automata. I have not actually gone back and played the original. I do know what happens in the original. I know quite a bit of what happens, but I do want to go back and eventually play that game for myself. So now I'm hoping that I can get this spring that I need. Huh. See, now I'm kind of hoping that it's just, okay, wait, supply trader's request. 3 out of 1? Huh. Well, they don't attack me. So I only need 1 rook. So maybe it's an item that is just laying about. Or at least that's what I'm starting to think. Because never had this problem before. And that's gonna be a bit embarrassing. Although those enemies I just fought that did drop those items are still pretty are actually outside of the circle. I kind of wish you had the item finder early on. Oh, this is going to be an embarrassment to the game. Yeah, I don't see it, so yeah. Alright, so these guys don't attack me anymore, but it's not letting me ride them. Yeah, I don't see it, so I'm gonna go back to the main menu. Really a shame. Because I think early on this game it's a bit touch and go. It's a bit touchy. That's for sure. So I'm gonna go back to the main menu. And or actually maybe I don't have to. No, I don't actually. So just load this. Alright, now, okay, that's cool. Now we got 2 times the enemies. Make sure, let's see what this is. Oh, just more iron ore in there. Okay, I'm gonna resurrect this GT. That's a... Alright. So yeah, they're really behind. They lag behind too. These things are really only good for bosses or really tight areas because they can get lost. It seems like I'm 2B and then 9S follows 2B and then the Android follows 9S. But at like 3 times the distance almost. Which kind of means it's... Oh boy. Yep, yeah, that's that nice hit detection. Alright, no, still nothing. Alright, let's see. Okay, there you go, we finally did the request. I guess it was just an item on the ground. And I just saw a body and now it disappeared. So I think it combines like 2 aspects of sort of Dark Souls system. And no, I'm not saying this is the Dark Souls of action RPGs or some nonsense. Well, I mean, Dark Souls is technically an action RPG, but you have sort of the corpse. You kind of have like sort of these tertiary online aspects without it being a full like multiplayer game. Like, you can find corpses of other people and see where they died, and they leave behind messages, which is similar to Dark Souls, and you can pick up their items. Although you don't like see like the sort of red ghosts of how people died. You just see see their corpse. I'm not gonna read all this dialogue. I don't know. I'll read what I want. I'll talk when I want, I guess, too. You found the materials. That's great. Now I can start upgrading and crafting items for you. I imagine you can spare a few things, supplies to fix your legs. Haha, no. Why don't you tell us what's really going on? You see, it's my left leg that's busted, and my left leg is that's not fully original. I've repaired the old body a few hundred times during this, or some parts too many times I can't keep track. But this left leg, it's never been touched. So it's going to. So if I go to replace it, what happens? I mean, would I even be me anymore, or would I just? Anyway, that's my own problem. Don't mean to trouble you with it. Should be getting more inventory soon, so swing back if you can. Huh. So that does bring up like an aspect, like if you replace so many different parts of yourself, what's the point in which, you know, you're a fully automated machine, what's the point in which you're not you anymore? And assuming you have an identity, of course. So, yeah, I guess that's something that I never paid attention to. If you skip through some of the quests, you're gonna miss these little things. And thankfully, this is the end of the busy work. Everything else from here, it feels relevant, which is a good thing because, I mean, it kind of sucks playing something where you feel like it's kind of irrelevant. Let's see, attack. It's a plug-in chip. People thought this is confusing, but it's really not. I think the EXP gauge is completely useless because it doesn't tell you when you're gonna level up next. It just says how much XP that you've earned in total, which I'm pretty sure you can. Yeah, you can see it on the regular like title screen. So yeah, I don't think there's a way for it to tell you when you level up. And to be completely honest, it's not that important. Alright, let's talk back to Anamone. Alright, so gotta head to the desert. I don't know if there's anything else. Is there anything else I can buy? No. Anyway, yeah, this is easily gonna be the most boring part because it's really just an extended tutorial. They're really just fetch quests. Thankfully, it's kind of the most simplest of fetch quests. It's not the worst fetch quest I've ever seen. It's painlessly painful, if that makes sense. I can't go into that room yet. So we're just gonna head to the desert, and there's a pretty good stopping point. Well, yeah, she's gonna be difficult, but there's already I really like the vocal track. Man, 2B's legs. Let's not. Oof. Oof. Let's not mix words here. So I'm gonna customize this here. Skill gauge, definitely want that. Enemy data, want that. Objective, want that. Text log, want that. Save point, damage values, control. Auto hide situation, yeah. So let's go. Yeah, that's really what we need. In fact, I think there is... I'm making myself look like an idiot, so let me just show some gameplay real quick. But I am actually certain that there is a few more plug-in chips, because it is true, we're going to be quite a bit away from the camp and we can't teleport yet. So getting those plug-in chips now is going to be useful. Unless there's not that many plug-in chips. So that's always an option. Actually, I think this might not be the right person I'm talking to. Although I do want to see if I found any rare materials yet. Broken crystal. Because there are certain items that it'll straight up tell you. Yeah, fishing in this game is good for getting good sellables. And not really much for anything else. Alright, this is the guy. So, they don't have it yet, dang it. Max HP is pretty nice. Range defense might be pretty nice. Max HP, range defense, that's pretty... I'm probably not gonna have the opportunity to really stack these yet. They cost, the space that they take on the plugin costs it a lot, because they both say 11, and as far as I know, 2 is the sort of average, sort of small. I don't know if I've seen even a level 2 plugin chips yet. Or sorry, one size plugin chips. If they do exist, then they're far between. So I do like the sort of escalation. You have sort of this boring, well, not boring, but fairly simple sound, and then you have it a little bit more dynamic, and then you finally have this where you have the vocals kicking. I'm probably not going to talk much past this point because there's not really much to talk about. The pretty nice tower. So, if I do have one complaint, but something that plays into the theme, but I still have a complaint about, is the color. What you're seeing right now is the majority of the color palette in NieR Automata. You're gonna have a lot of gray, some green, and black and white. It's not that much to work with. There's not a lot of reds. Everything is very rustic. And, well, I'm dead. When your character dies, his body remains in the field corpse. The body contains, if you die again before reaching a previous body, it will disappear. If you keep playing for an extended period of time without reserving your party, it will disappear. So this is another aspect that makes it like Dark Souls. When you die, you leave behind a corpse, and you lose your plug-in chips unless you go back and find your body. Now, this is an okay mechanic. I think it really plays into a few themes going on in the game. And before I forget, you don't... As long as you're not playing at the third act of the game, you can pretty much play through the game and not have to worry that much. because you can just respawn back. You don't you don't reload your save, right? Which is something that happens later. Ooh, is that something I never seen before? Alright. So there should be a body around here. Okay, this guy, he's a bit dangerous. But there's a save point, I believe, once we leave this area, and I think that's where I'm gonna stop. And actually, it's right here. So let's just talk to this guy.
君たちが夜この先の岩場で仲間が待ってるからそっちに向かってる。ただ砂漠地帯には補給する場所何か必要だったらここで交換していった方がいいか。何か交換していくかい？
And there's pretty much there's nothing really. Oh, charge attack. That's gonna be useful. Oh, no. What? Avoid stagger after hit from HP is... Oh, well that's not gonna be useful in hard mode. Increase the power of down attacks by... Huh. So again, like, I know this game is supposed to be hard, but we're fighting level 7s and they can very easily kill you. So next time, I might grind a little bit more here. But I'm not going to move that much further in the story. Something I forgot to mention prior to your story. According to your analysis, it seems the equipment has been lost. Breaking the abandoned factory is still there. It marks an estimated to pick it up next time. So that big sword that we had is still back at that factory. To that, I'm going to start the next part at that location. And I think this is where I'm going to end the part. Next time, we'll enter the desert. See what's going on there, and hopefully I'll get better commentating skills. See you then. I don't know. Actually, I guess this is kind of a test project, I guess. See how good I am at commentating. Well, everyone starts off bad. You gotta get used to it. Get used to constantly talking about different things, how to keep it interesting, and keep it relevant to the game. So yeah, I'll grind, maybe I'll be level 7, and see you next time.